not to listen to it, or to listen to it as a ritual, or listen to it and ponder about it but not act upon it, that's your danger. The outcome of this lack of response would be that on the day of judgment, the day when the truth should manifest itself, you will be empty-handed. You will be carrying a burden of sins and disobedience and rejection of the truth. يوم ينفخ في الصور ونحشر المجرمين يومئذ زرقا. When the trumpet shall be blown and life shall be resurrected for a second time after the total annihilation the first time, we shall assemble all of them, especially the criminals, the sinful, the wicked. يومئذ زرقا. Zurqa meaning pale, frightened, terrified, disappointed, and blinded, black-faced, sorrowful at all the loss that they have suffered. So, we've been warned that beware. You fail to take the message, you're a loser. But Allah's mercy is available in abundance if you approach this incident with reflection and with application. With this introduction, now let's go to the riwayat which talk about the importance of mourning and grieving. The riwayah says that إِنَّ لِلْحُسَيْنِ مَحَبَّةً مَكْنُونَةً فِي قُلُوبِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. Imam Hussein has a hidden God-given love in the hearts of everyone who is a believer. You can't be a true believer, sincere, seeking the truth, responsive to the truth, trying to act on the truth, trying to avoid evil, trying to seek justice, trying to fight against injustice, trying to aspire for all those human virtues, trying to avoid human vices. You can't be a true, sincere believer, but that if the narration of Imam Hussein alayhi salam is presented to you, that you will be immediately attracted. If we fail to respond, and to weep, and to grieve, and to mourn, it seems as there's a problem with our faith, in our seeking of the truth and accepting it and acting upon it. So now observe the riwayat. One riwayah says, you commemorate the events of Karbala, and your sins will be forgiven. غفر الله ذنوبه ولو كانت مثل زبد البحر. Notice all the reasons that were given for the narrations of the prophets in the Qur'an. Now look at the reasons mentioned in the riwayat, or the effects mentioned in the riwayat about mourning and weeping for Imam. One is that your sins shall be forgiven, as many as they may be, like the waves of the ocean. In another riwayah it says that whether it's great sins or small sins, it's not possible for a person to listen to the tragedy of Karbala, to identify with what they stood for, and not to feel ashamed of our own shortcoming. Once we feel sad and sorrow, once we feel anger at the wickedness of the criminals against such holy people, we start asking ourselves, wait a minute, what if I were there? Where would I be standing? If I make an internal determination, consciously or unconsciously, that I need to change, already I've taken the first step to seek forgiveness and to change, and therefore the reward. Your sins shall be forgiven. A second riwayah says that you commemorate the event of Karbala. لم تبكي عينه يوم تبكي العيون لم يمت قلبه يوم تموت فيه القلوب. Internally and spiritually, your heart is enlivened. There is a new spiritual life inside you. Not only now is there a disgust and a dislike for evil and injustice and the criminality of those wicked enemies of the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, but there is a yearning and aspiration for trying to acquire the virtues that the followers and the Imam himself had. And therefore the heart becomes alive. Our life, according to the Qur'an, is not only the physical, biological, apparent life. Our true life is our spiritual life. The Qur'an says that there are two types of people who are dead. There are those who are dead and they lie flat on the ground. And then there are those who are dead but they're walking dead. They look human, biologically they're alive, but spiritually inside they're animals. Humanly they're dead. Excuse me. This group of riwayat say that no, the commemoration brings new life to the heart. If the life of the heart depends on awareness of God, of seeking the truth, of submitting to the truth, of acquiring virtues, then all these virtues, once they are aroused in us, we get a new life. Number 3, the riwayah says, if you weep for Imam, آمَنَهُ اللَّهُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ مِنْ سَخَطِهِ وَالنَّارِ. Allah will protect you on the Day of Judgment if you weep here today. You're sad here, but on the Day of Judgment you shall be happy. You will be protected from the wrath and the displeasure of God, and you shall be protected from the fire of hell. If the fire of hell is a manifestation of the sinfulness of man, the disobedience of man, the neglect of man of his duties towards God, the commemoration of Karbala, therefore, if it's to protect us on the Day of Judgment, should somehow make us more aware of the seriousness and the gravity and the dangers of sins, and therefore our desires to avoid sins. And finally, a 4th riwayah says that whosoever grieves for Imam alayhi salam, كَانَ ثَوَابُهُ عَلَى اللَّهِ. The reward is so great, we can't describe it to you, but suffice it to say that Allah Himself will reward. It can't be quantified, it can't be measured, but it's so great. لَمْ يَرْضَ لَهُ بِدُونِ الْجَنَّةِ. And Allah will not suffice with a reward lesser than Jannah. So notice the tremendous effects of weeping, but all of these are conditional. The condition is we must be reflective, the condition is we must be aspiring towards the truth, the condition is we must have a determination to fight against evil and injustice. The purpose should be to edify ourselves and reform ourselves with the virtues. So, if I am to summarize the stages of mourning and grieving and weeping that we should try to traverse during these nights of Muharram. Stage 1, when we hear the narration, the tragedy, we feel compassion. Natural. Human beings are created in such a way that when we see suffering, we respond by feeling pity or compassion or empathy or sympathy. It's a valid reason to weep for Imam alayhi salam. But that's stage 1. That's not enough. The same thing you could be doing also for any other tragedy. But what makes this tragedy different from others is the next stage of weeping. And that is the riwayat say that the heavens and the earth also wept for Imam alayhi salam. بكت عليه السماوات والأرض بكت عليه من الخلق ما يرى وما لا يرى. What is visible cried for him, and what is also invisible cried for him. So in our narrations we have the Holy Prophet cried for him, the past prophets cried for him, whoever was informed about this tragedy. The Imams after the Prophet cried for him, the living Imam is crying for him. That means every holy soul who is a paragon and a perfect model of perfection inescapably responds to the narration by weeping. And therefore my niyyah and my intention when I listen to this narration would be to follow the sunnah and the uswa hasana of the Holy Prophet and the Holy Ones. Now that brings me a stage closer beyond mere human sympathy. Now I'm aspiring to follow the model and the example of the perfect ones. Number 3, a higher stage of weeping. The riwayah says that, and this is from Bihar al-Anwar, the riwayah of Ibn Shabib, that Ibn Shabib, Rayyan that is, إن سرك أن تسكن الغرف المبنية في الجنة if you wish, O Rayyan, to stay in the higher stages of Jannah مع النبي, with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, فلعن قتلة الحسين, then you must curse and pray to God to send His wrath and displeasure on the killers of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Stage 3 now therefore is not weeping out of sympathy alone, not weeping as following the model of the Prophet and the holy ones. No, it's an act of political awareness of the evil leaders and the evil society, which can mobilize innocent individuals who blindly or consciously follow the evil powers, and galvanized, they can be used as a force against truth. I need to identify, I need to recognize, I need to know who are they, how do they work, how do they recruit and mobilize and galvanize against evil. I need to fight against them. فَلْعَنْ قَتَلَةَ الْحُسَيْنِ. My weeping should be an act of political protest. That's when my weeping becomes a means to be with the Prophet in Jannah. Not only entering Jannah, to be in Jannah with the Prophet. Number 3. Stage 4 of weeping. Again, in the same riwayah, Imam alayhi salam tells Shabib, يا ابن شبيب إن سرك أن يكون لك من الثواب مثل ما لمن استشهد مع الحسين. O Rayyan, if you wish to get the same reward like the companions who were with Imam Hussein in Karbala. I wasn't there. Historically, God chose me to come in the 20th or 21st century in a particular part of the world, to a particular family, to a particular ethnic or tribal background. It wasn't my choice. But God decided I should come. But now I'm conscious, and I'm aware, and I can make a choice of what my outcome will be in my life. If I were in Karbala, where would I have stood? That's the important question. This is the question which I should have at the back of my mind as I listen to the events of Karbala. If I wish to be rewarded in the same way as the companions, then there's one sentiment that I should always express, but expression is not enough. Even the munafiq can do that. Which I should express after I feel it and experience it inside myself. And that is, فَقُلْ مَتَى مَا ذَكَرْتَهُ يَا لَيْتَنِي كُنْتُ مَعَهُمْ فَأَفُوزَ فَوْزًا عَظِيمًا. Oh, I wish. Oh, I deeply desire, and I'm eager, and I'm zealous. I wish I were there, so that I would have fought against these evil, wicked, merciless, ruthless animals. I'm not being abusive. The Qur'an also uses the word animals to describe some people who are defiant and disobedient. I would have fought against these animals. And the Qur'an is not abusive. The Qur'an describes the truth. But I must have that sentiment if I'm to deserve to be rewarded like the companions. So stage 4 of weeping. Stage 5 of weeping. So, sympathy, yes, very good to start with, but not enough. The desire to follow the model of the holy ones, the prophets and the imams. Beyond that, no. The conformity with the rest of creation. Beyond that, no. An act of political protest. Beyond that, no. The proclamation of the readiness to support the cause of truth. I wish I were there. I would have supported the truth. Beyond that, the same riwayah says that Ibn Shabib, Rayyan, if you wish to be like the angels and the rest of creation, which responded to this tragedy, then angels were sent down to help Imam Hussein alayhi salam. But Imam By the time they reached, the massacre had taken place. So the angels are there. فَهُمْ عِنْدَ قَبْرِهِ. The angels are there hovering near his grave. شُعْثٌ غُبْرٌ. They are in a state of grief and mourning. إِلَىٰ أَن يَقُومَ. Till the time when the appearance of the one who will rise. I will not mention his name out of respect. We may have to stand. فَيَكُونُونَ مِنْ أَنصَارِهِ وَشِعَارُهُمْ يَا لِثَارَاتِ الْحُسَيْنِ. Well, it's not enough to feel sympathy. It's important to follow the example of the Prophet. No. To make a protest. No. It's important to proclaim our support. No. Proclamation of supports are not enough. I must be preparing and readying myself and my family and my friends and my community for the appearance of the final Imam to establish global justice. That means wherever there is injustice on the earth today, the follower of Imam Hussein and the Ahlul Bayt and the mourner of Imam Hussein alayhi salam should be in the forefront, because he hates injustice and he loves justice. It's only when we prepare ourselves to this extent, that's when we're told that the appearance shall be brought forward. And finally, the final stage, or the final achievement or accomplishment of weeping. Yabna Shabib. If you want to meet your Lord, to meet the Lord, obviously the Lord is not something physical, that you're going to meet Him in some place or in some time. The Lord is a reality who is timeless, who is spaceless, who is above time and space. He's the creator of time and space. He can't be constrained within time and space. You want to meet your Lord, that means you want to achieve a level of awareness and consciousness which is all-consuming about the reality of God in such a way that it overwhelms all your thoughts and your feelings and your behavior in such a way excuse me, that they submit and surrender to that truth. That is the encounter of the Lord. Yabna Shabib, if you wish to meet your Lord, then make sure that you go and visit his grave. Yabna Shabib, in sarraka an talqa Allah azza wa jal, if you want liqa of Allah, wala dhanba alayk, and you are purified and you're cleansed from all that which blocks you from reaching God. One of the best ways to purify yourself, to develop yourself, to perfect yourself, to bring yourself close to God, and to distance yourself from everything other than God, one of the best ways, most powerful ways, shortest of the ways. 10 nights, no. 1 night, no. 1 gathering, no. 1 tear, a true, sincere, from the bottom of the heart. Oh Lord, the totality of my being has listened to the truth, has understood what is right and what's wrong. It hates evil. It loves good. It's protesting against evil. It wants to join good. Oh, I wish I were there. No, I want to fight against all evil. No, I want to be ready even today, even now, if the last promised one appears. How do I express myself that to you, oh my Lord? If I could do that, here's my drop of tear. If we achieve this level of understanding, that's when the purpose of this whole assembly and gathering and commemoration of weeping and mourning and all these effects that have been promised, we can hope to achieve, inshaAllah. In conclusion, I would like to remind ourselves about the beginning of the movement of Imam Hussein alayhi salam from Medina. In the month of Rajab, Muawiyah dies in the middle of Rajab, 60 AH. Yazid wasn't in town in Damascus. He was outside. 3 days later he comes. He's summoned and he takes over power, and all those power lackeys come and kiss his hands metaphorically and declare their submission to him and deify him and glorify him. And Yazid issues the command, advised by his Roman advisor, Sirjaun, about the extraction of allegiance from all the great potential opponents stationed in Medina. Imam Hussein Abu Abdullah, Abdul Rahman, the son of Abu Bakr, Abdullah, the son of Umar, and Abdullah bin Zubayr. The son of Uthman, the grandson of Uthman was a messenger who the governor of Medina, Walid bin Utbah, dispatched to go and look for all these 4 potential opponents to Yazid's power and to summon them to come to the palace. Nobody was at home. So he went to the mosque and he found them there. So he delivered the message that you are being summoned to the governor's palace. Imam Hussein alayhi salam responded, when we finish our work here, we will come. Abdullah ibn Zubayr seeks the opinion of Imam. What do you think? Why at this particular hour? It's an odd hour. It's not the time for public meetings. It's late in the night. Why do you think he's calling us at this time? Imam alayhi salam says, أظن أن الطاغية, the taghut, the evil doer, the evil ruler, my strong feeling is that he has died. I had a vision last night, Imam says, that the member of Muawiyah has been toppled, that his house is on fire, and that we are being summoned now to come and declare our allegiance to the next Khalifa. Abdullah ibn Zubayr then asks Imam, so what is your response going to be? Imam says, I'm never going to declare my bay'ah to Yazid because this is a betrayal. The conditions of the treaty with my brother Imam Hassan alayhi salam was that after Muawiyah, whoever dies, after Muawiyah the power shall be transferred to me. That was the agreement. And he has betrayed that. And besides, there is no compromise. Yazid is not a person who is competent and qualified. He is openly defiant, fasiq, mu'lin bil fisq, openly disobeys God. He drinks, yashrabu sharaba wa yal'abu bil kilab, and he disrespects the laws of the Sharia. Wa yubghidu ala Muhammad alayhi salam, and he's got an unhidden hatred for the family of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There's no way I'm going to compromise or surrender. So Abdullah bin Zubayr says, well, if you're going to meet the governor, there's no way. They're going to arrest you and they're going to force you to say yes. So Imam alayhi salam says, oh no, I'm not going to go there alone, such that I'll be vulnerable. I won't go there unless I can defend myself. I'll take my family members and I'll take my friends, and all of them are going to be armed, and I'm going to give them instructions to wait for me outside. I will never allow myself to be humiliated and overpowered. This is a man of courage. This is a man of defiance for the sake of truth. A man who is not intimidated by the evil forces. Interestingly enough, before the encounter, the Maqtal says Imam alayhi salam proceeded home, made some tahara, ghusl or wudu, wore another dress, prayed salah, and da'a rabbahu bima ahabba fi salatih. And he made dua in his salah. We're not told what dua, but the dua for the preparation to either begin the journey or to encounter evil or to get the strength to be able to stick on the right path. Look at the way Imam alayhi salam begins his movement. And then he summons the help. He explains to his followers and his friends and his family members, I'm going to this governor. I won't be surprised if they will try to impose upon me something that I cannot accept. but you await outside the door for my instructions. If I call you, or no, another maqtal says, أَوْ يُرِيبُكُمْ, even if you're not sure what's happening, then immediately enter and stop whoever is trying to harm me, or attack the one who is trying to attack me. But be careful, don't overdo things, don't transgress. But my hope is that I'll come out safe. Contingency plans. So Imam Hussein alayhi salam approaches the palace. There's the courtesy of the greetings. He sees Marwan sitting there. There happens to be some conflict between Marwan and Walid bin Utbah bin Abi Sufyan. We don't know what that conflict is, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's something to do with power. Marwan was power hungry. Marwan gets to power after Yazid dies and his son Muawiyah abdicates. Muawiyah bin Yazid bin Muawiyah. So he sees Marwan there. Imam Hussein alayhi salam says that, may Allah bring sulh and islah, aslahakallah. Definitely peace is better than conflict. Definitely having good relations is better than fighting with each other. And I see both of you are together. We thank God. Alhamdulillah. الذي أصلح بينكما. None of them replies. So then Imam Hussein alayhi salam continues. Any news about Muawiyah? The last we knew, he was sick. What has happened to him? So Walid bin Utbah now takes a deep sigh of grief. Ajarakallah, may Allah give you ajr. When you come for consolation, it's good to make dua. May Allah reward you for your expression of consolation. Ajarakallah. He was a good uncle to you, Muawiyah, to Imam Hussein is saying. These are two families. The Bani Umayyah, you looked at Bani Hashim as two families at war. Whereas the Bani Hashim and the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam did not look at this as a family feud. It was a basic ideological war. He was a good uncle to you. He has died. And his son Yazid is now the Khalifa, and he has sent me a message. So Imam says, Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. So why did you call me then? Well, we want your bay'ah to the Khilafah of Yazid, as people are also ready to declare the bay'ah. Imam says, well, there's no use for me to declare my bay'ah in private. If you're planning to call the public and extract bay'ah, so call me also in public, let me be with the others. Walid says, that's a wonderful idea, it's very good. I like your answer. May God bless you. Barakallah. Please, you can go insarif bi barakatillah. And inshallah tomorrow we meet. Marwan bin Hakam bin As was sitting there. He turns to Walid, he says, you are betraying the cause. If Hussein leaves now, you won't get him again till there is huge bloodshed between us and them. Arrest him now, force him to say yes. If he refuses, chop his head off. Oh. Marwan seems to be a terrorist. Imam alayhi salam says, Yabna Zarqa, you the son of the blue-eyed woman. Who dare raise a finger on my body, you or him? Wallahi kadhibta, you are a liar. These are just words that you speak. You don't have the courage and the strength. Imam doesn't say this, but history is very clear. Imam Ali and his sons, Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein, were there in the Battle of Siffin. We saw how brave these people were. They fled from the battlefield. Imam Ali alayhi salam dared Muawiyah. He tells Muawiyah, forget about these hundreds of thousands of Muslims that you have brought to come and fight against me. Keep all the Muslims aside, man to man, face to face. I fought all your family members of Bani Umayyah in the time of Kufr. Me and you, let's settle the issue. Muawiyah, forget Muawiyah, Amr ibn As had to expose his private parts to escape from Imam Ali alayhi salam. So Imam Hussein alayhi salam says, who dares touch me, you or him? Wallahi kadhibta wa athimta wa la'imta. And remember this much, if anyone dares lift a finger, you'll be dead before you know it. And besides, if you think you're smart and strong, try it out. This is a daring man, fearless, confident, ready to fight against evil. And then Imam alayhi salam turns to Walid and explains to him, listen, my refusal to make bay'ah to Yazid is based on this reasoning. إِنَّا أَهْلُ بَيْتِ النُّبُوَّةِ وَمَعْدِنُ الرِّسَالَةِ وَمُخْتَلَفُ الْمَلَائِكَةِ وَمَحَلُّ الرَّحْمَةِ ويزيد بنا فتح الله وبنا يختم ويزيد شارب الخمر معلن بالفسق فاسق قاتل النفس المحرمة. Let me tell you who we are. We belong to the household of the Prophet. The angels descend upon our household. You know, Imam Ali alayhi salam, the members of the household, when he would visit the Prophet's chamber and the Prophet is with one of his wives, the Prophet would tell Imam Ali, come close to me, and he would ask the wife, please distance yourself. And privately they would have a conversation. There are certain realities which can only be exchanged between two individuals. Everybody doesn't have the capacity to understand. That's how close these members of the Ahlul Bayt were to the Prophet. And then Imam says that when the Prophet used to visit our home, all of us, I would be near him, Imam Ali says, but at the same time my wife and my children would also be there. Because they were at that level of perfection and reception to be able to appreciate the higher realities of the Nubuwwah. Ahlul Bayt al-Nubuwwah wa ma'dinu risala. We are the treasure house. We know all the secrets which Allah has revealed from the beginning of time till the end of time. وَمُخْتَلَفُ الْمَلَائِكَةِ. The malaika come to us to learn. The malaika come to us for blessings. The malaika come to us to show their service and subservience to us, or to bring special messages from God. وَمَحَلُّ الرَّحْمَةِ. We are the means of rahmah to the ummah. Our status is incomparable, in other words, to anyone else in the ummah. And Yazid, there's no way I could now surrender. I bow down to Yazid. Finally, Imam alayhi salam, before his departure, now goes to the grave of the Holy Prophet for his final wida'. He makes a complaint, and the Maqtal says the complaint of Imam alayhi salam at the grave of the Prophet was, O Prophet, this is the son of your daughter. Assalamu alayk, Ya Rasulullah. Incidentally, the residence of all the Imams after the Holy Prophet was in Medina, as close to the Prophet as possible. They didn't choose to go to Mecca. Kufa was temporary for Imam Ali alayhi salam because of special political reasons, but otherwise all the Imams preferred Medina. Samarra, Khurasan, the other Imams were forced politically to move out. And now you understand the reason. So Imam alayhi salam goes to the grave of the Prophet. Assalamu alayka ya Rasulullah. Ana al-Husayn ibn Fatima. I'm Hussein, the son of Fatima. Ana farhuka wa ibn farhatik. I'm that small child who is a direct growth from you, whom you loved so much. And now we've reached a stage. وَصِبْتُكَ فِي الْخَلَفِ الَّذِي خَلَّفْتَ عَلَى أُمَّتِكَ. And I am the descendant and the successor as the Khalifa in your ummah. فَاشْهَدْ عَلَيْهِمْ يَا نَبِيَّ اللَّهِ. I want you to bear witness, O Prophet. Oh, incidentally, we believe the Prophet is alive. The Prophet listens. Even the Wahhabis who say that you can't talk to the dead and you can't make dua at the grave. When they're asked, oh, wait a minute, if you think the dead can't hear and they can't respond, then how come every day in salah we say, Assalamu alayka, ayyuhan nabiyyu, wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Who are we making salam to? They say, oh no, God temporarily sends the soul back and the Prophet can hear and then respond. Well, no, we say, this body is just a cloth that we wear. That's not my true identity. My true identity is my soul. That soul is ever living. That soul is alive. That soul is conscious. That soul is aware. So Imam alayhi salam addresses the Prophet. I want you to bear witness, O Prophet. Who does Imam Hussein talk to? Who does he explain to? What is the problem with this ummah? أنهم قد خذلوني وضيعوني وأنهم لم يحفظوني. They have neglected me, they have disrespected me, they have abandoned me. This is the problem with Medina. Yazid succeeds because of these reasons. People are negligent of the status of Imam. Or if they're aware, they're not ready to help. They're not courageous enough to help. Or if they're courageous enough to start to help, they're not steadfast enough to continue to help till the end. وَهَذَا شَكْوَايَ إِلَيْكَ حَتَّى أَلْقَاكَ. And this is my complaint to you, O Prophet, till we meet. The riwayah says the next night Imam goes back to the grave of the Prophet. He prays 2 rak'ah there. Once he finishes his salah, again he says, Allahumma inna hadha qabru nabiyyika Muhammad. O Lord, this is the grave of your Prophet, and I am the son of the daughter of Muhammad. وَقَدْ حَضَرَنِي مِنَ الْأَمْرِ مَا قَدْ عَلِمْتَ. And you know what the situation I'm facing right now. Allahumma inni uhibbu al-ma'ruf wa akrahu al-munkar. Oh Lord, I love and I'm ready to die for the sake of everything that is virtue. Oh Lord, I dislike and I hate and I'm disgusted by everything that is evil, and I'm ready to die to fight against it. That's my whole spirit and the crux of my movement. Oh Lord, أنا أسألك يا ذا الجلال والإكرام بحق هذا القبر ومن فيه إلا اخترت من أمري ما هو لك رضا. Oh Lord, you decide for me, you inspire me, you show me what is the best way to handle this situation. This is a mashwara. Those who want to make istikhara, look at the istikhara of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Goes to the grave of the Prophet, makes salah there, makes dua, and weeps the whole night till the day. Assalamu alayk ya Aba Abdullah wa ala al-arwah allati hallat bifina'ik wa anakhat birahlik alaykum minni jami'an salamullahi abadan ma baqitu wa baqiya al-layl wan-nahar ولا جعله الله آخر العهد منا لذكركم